Hey guys, Spider-Man here, I wish. Welcome to the second part of the video. This video is gonna be all about pull. Do consider that you do need a pull-up bar. Or if you do have a TRX or a gymnastic rings, that's perfect. As long as we are able to pull ourselves. And I know some of you may not have the same pull-up bar as I do. I know some of you may have the one that you hook on the door frame. Unfortunately, I don't have that. So the workouts I'm gonna do, it might be hard to get it done with what you have. Just be a little creative and see what you can do. So before we start, I want to tell you guys the 3 goals that we are gonna try and achieve on this video. First is the most important one, the beginners. We always welcome beginners. So I'll teach you how to get your first ever pull-up. Second is the 1-arm pull-up, and third is the muscle up. Okay, so let's start for the beginners. And if you're not a beginner, you can skip this part. Things to remember. A pull-up is when your palm is facing away from you, and a chin-up is when it's facing you. Alright guys, 4 things. Negative, dead hangs, assistant, and Australian pull-ups. So let's start with the negatives. I recommended this on my last video as well. I found this one of the best exercise to achieving the goal. It's just because you're already working on your own body weight, on already what you have, and I feel like this is the best thing to work on, is really just getting used to your own body weight. So doing the negative pull-up, obviously all you have to do is get up on the bar and slowly go down and try to control it. Control it, really resist the tension and do this as much as you can. It's gonna hurt a little bit, but it's totally fine. You're gonna build it up over the time. It's just really important for you to get familiar with your own body weight and the feel of the gravity against you, and going down, trying to resist that will definitely make you grow. Another thing that I do recommend for beginners is doing dead hangs. Try to do as long as possible, try to hang as long as possible, and try to switch also. If you want to do 1 arm, just try to separate it. It's gonna be much harder if you're gonna hang with only 1 arm, but then again, is over the course of time you will get stronger. As long as you are consistent, you will definitely achieve a better pull-up. Okay guys, so for another beginner kind of like exercise, this does require an equipment. So if you do have a resistant band, this will make your pull-up a little bit easier. All you have to do is loop it around the bar and put your feet on it, and then try to perform a normal pull-up or a chin-up. And lastly, if you don't fancy any of those workouts, or just mix them all up all together, I do recommend also doing Australian pull-ups. This is a nice and easy way to achieving your pull-up strength as well. Also, like I said, you can also do chin-up or pull-up, whichever way you prefer, but usually the pull-up will be the hardest one. So for the Australian pull-up, all you have to pretty much do is put your bar a little bit lower, therefore your feet is touching the ground. Your body should be on an angle while you perform a pulling motion. So all you're trying to do is pretty much try to do a pull-up while your feet is on the floor. And do note, the higher the bar is and your feet still touching the ground, the easier it will get. The lower the bar is and the more lower you are, the harder it gets. Okay guys, if you made it this far, well done. And I want you guys to pretty much focus on that. Focus on getting that pull-up, your first ever pull-up. I guarantee you will get it, as long as you are consistent and you're very patient. I do recommend the patient bit, because the results, it might come actually next week, your first ever pull-up, but it depends on how much you train and how hard you train. Okay guys, let's move on to the next goal, and that is the 1-arm pull-up or chin-up. Okay, for this one, I do recommend having a very strong dead hang on 1 arm and also having a strong pull-up, you know, just like if you can rep it really easily, I do recommend having that. But anyway, let's do this. So the first exercise I do for the one arm pull-up is I do negatives again. Okay, I cannot stress enough about negatives. It helped me a lot. It's such an amazing workout. Just doing negatives alone gives you so much more benefit. Having that resistance is incredible. And obviously, all you have to do in the negatives is try to get up on the bar and try to go down as slow as possible. The second workout that I do is resistant band one arm pull-up. So obviously, if you do have a resistant band, perfect. This is it does help you a lot if you use this. If not, what you can do at home, if you do have a towel, you can literally just wrap that around your bar and you can use that as a support. And another thing with assisted pull-up is obviously putting your other hand holding onto your arm that is pulling. The best way to get the strength here is the lower you go on the arm, the harder it gets. So if you can achieve by touching your shoulders, this is the best way you can also get your one arm pull-up. And last workout that I usually do is archers. Archers is really good, and this is where you get the technique. Is when you pull up, you will touch the shoulder, and you have to try and do this with both arms. You're trying to be balanced. So all you have to do is go up and try and touch the shoulders on the bar. And I want you guys to really focus on that arm, that one arm that is pulling. And hopefully you guys, if you are consistent enough with this training, you will definitely achieve that one arm pull-up or chin-up, whichever you prefer. And moving on, the third goal is the muscle up. I know most of you guys already know what the muscle up is. It's such an explosive movement. It's awesome to even achieve it. But let's break it down. If you haven't seen my last video, I actually touch upon half of the muscle up there, because a muscle up does include a pull and a push motion. So make sure you also work on your pushing. So for the muscle up, one of the things I do recommend on doing is a lot of explosive pull-ups. And what you want to try to do with this one is when you explode up the bar, make sure you try to touch your belly with the bar. This is one of the things that I do recommend on starting training your muscle up. It's just because you do have to break it down. It's not something you can easily get. And a muscle up movement does consist of a technique. One of the techniques that is actually much more beneficial is learning how to grip the bar properly. So when you're gonna perform a muscle up, you have to get used to what's called a false grip. Performing the false grip is a little bit tricky, and you do need time to get used to it. But when you perform the false grip, try to really hold that grip and making sure your wrist is higher and also thumbs above the bar rather than thumbs below. This will make it easier for you to get up. One of the best way to also practice the muscle up is by jumping on the bar. So if you have a bar like mine, I can pretty much position it where I want to, and I can pretty much practice the way I can get up the bar. So I can practice the false grip and leading up to the dip. Then again, you do need to practice the dip because that's the second motion of the muscle up. So it's as easy as that to explain, but it's not as easy as to do. For me, it actually took me quite a while to get this, but don't get discouraged. Keep fighting through and eventually you will get it. And there it is, guys. That's pretty much all the information I can give you at the moment. For the beginners, please be patient and work hard. I know you guys are gonna achieve your first pull-up. If you do have any questions for me, just comment down below. I'll easily answer all your questions. And stay tuned for the third part of Calisthenics at Home. And I hope you liked the video. I'm out.